The new Tynecastle Stadium provided the ideal theatre as the drama of season 95-96 unfolded. Supporters of the club have long grown weary of false dawns, and yet as they both despaired and rejoiced, ultimately they could be satisfied by the progress achieved by the new manager in his first season in charge.
Well, obviously I knew coming into the club that Hearts have had a couple of bad years. I mean, going to the last game of the season to avoid relegation. I know the Premier League's very tight, and one or two results can keep you down there and lack of confidence. But really, a club of this standing shouldn't have to fight down there at the bottom of the league, and we had a lot of work to do.
That work began in earnest with the start of the league campaign. Early in September, Jeffrey's former club Falkirk visited Tynecastle. Alan Lawrence pounced on a pass from Alan Johnson to open the scoring.
7 minutes later and it was 2-0. The ball played forward to Robertson. Back to Hamilton and his pass for John Cahoon, converted in some style by the veteran striker. Cahoon picking his spot behind Neil Ingalls. Alan Johnson really was in magic form for Hearts. Watch this mazy run. And it led to goal number 3. A perfect cross for John Cahoon. The header. Hearts' fourth came from the penalty spot. Leached through to Lawrence. No question about that decision. Penalty kick. A yellow card for Ingalls. And John Robertson rounding off a great day for Jim Jeffries against his old club.
Defeats at the hands of Thistle and Celtic and an exit from the Coca-Cola Cup followed that month. In October, Hearts went to Easter Road.
It was strange because obviously my first derbies as a manager, and the first one was that we'd come off a bad defeat with Celtic and we had to go and play Hibs, and I felt we played very well.
So just under 5 minutes of the first half left. Still no scoring. Here come Hearts. It's Robertson clipping it across. McPherson's there, and David McPherson scores for Hearts. Well, David McPherson looking at the far post and picking his spot beyond Jim Leighton. Well, John Robertson, who's always such a thorn on this Hibs side, providing the cross, and David McPherson not picked up. McGinley sends that one through. It's Gareth Evans, and then comes the substitute, and Graham Donald scores the equaliser for Hibernian. It's well played by O'Neill, that's what he's better at, and Keith Wright is certainly onside. It's Wright taking on Winnie, teeing it up, and Pat McGinley scores for Hibernian.
We were leading 1-0 and were comfortable, and then again our lapses came back and we were 2-1 down, but John Robertson has done in the past, popped up with a great goal in the very last kick of the game, and we got a point that we thoroughly deserved on that occasion.
Well, when Robertson's inside the penalty area against Hibernian, anything's likely to happen. There's Robertson getting a little touch. Robertson trying to get in the shot. Oh, he's done it! It's unbelievable from John Robertson. He's done it again, and he's set a new record. That's his 23rd goal against Hibernian, and it's a new record for John Robertson. 184 league goals. He overtakes that other Hearts great Willie Bald in the most dramatic circumstances here at Easter Road. Well, he's punished Hibs down through the years. He got in a little touch there with his head. The ball broke back to him. There didn't seem to be any way through, but then he found the opening.
In Robbo's own words after that game, it's not over till the fat striker scores. And he proved that he still had what it took to score consistently in the Premier Division, even in his 32nd year. Nipper Lawrence concluded the scoring for Hearts against Raith Rovers with his second goal. A wonderful strike to secure a 4-2 victory. Only one win and 4 defeats in October left the club in a perilous position.
We coming in, there was obviously the euphoria, and we let things ride along, but it came back, and we, after 9 games we ended at the bottom of the league, and it looked like a long hard struggle. So the change that I thought would need to happen before I got the job, then we just had to get on with it. And we know the resources at the club aren't that good at the moment, but I knew that before we took over. So it had to be a lot of change, really, and sometimes in the short term, just to get people to realise that that's what had to be done.
With limited resources and having inherited a somewhat ageing squad, Jim Jefferies and assistant manager Billy Brown had the unenviable task of breathing new life into the team while struggling for survival at the bottom of the table. In the wake of the Bosman ruling, Jefferies cast his net wide and drafted an experienced French keeper, Gilles Rousset. The next recruit for his Foreign Legion was the uncompromising former Serie A heartman Pascal Bruno. The manager's most daring move was to blunt some of the youngsters already at the club. Among them, Paul Ritchie, Alan McManus and Alan Johnson.
I felt looking at the youngsters in the club, and I was hinted that maybe they weren't good enough, and I found that strange because when they were young kids, and there's no guarantee that they can go in and play in the first team, but when you look at them as a group, they won the BP Cup, they won the Reserve League title, so they couldn't have been that bad. And okay, maybe their form did dip, but maybe if you've been 2 or 3 years, I've learned that you take players, and if they're 2 or 3 years in the reserves and don't get any light at the end of the tunnel, they need a fresh challenge. They've won the Reserve League title. They see that there's maybe not a chance of them getting through to the first team, and therefore, they lose a wee bit of confidence or a wee bit of hope in themselves. So we gave them the challenge. We said, we know the resources, we're going to make change. If it doesn't work out, we've lost nothing because we're not successful anyway. But here's a chance. And you've had a bit of a kick in the teeth early in your career, so I'll give you that opportunity. So you go and show what you can do. And we started with the changes we're making. Gary Locke, who was a very popular lad about the club with the older players, and great respect for him. A die-hard Jambo, and plays like he does in training, and I have a lot of time for him. And I thought well, he's a tailor-made captain for me, and I think he can handle it at an early age. And there's a wee bond between the young boys as well, and it's great, and the older players have responded to that as well. So, we've given them a chance, and we said we would stick by them. And I think if they've got a manager and a backroom staff who believe in them, and they've went out there and they've grabbed that opportunity, and they've turned out to be great.
Jim also drafted in Hans Eskilsson, another foreign import, for the first game of November at home to Partick Thistle. Coming off bad defeats to Rangers and Falkirk, supporters were looking for a victory from the new-look Hearts side. The first goal came courtesy of the Jags, after a Johnson ball was backheeled by Robertson to be met by Thistle's Derek McWilliams, who slotted the ball into his own net. The second came from a corner kick. Johnson lofted the ball into the area and John Miller got the vital touch. A determined John Robertson somehow found his way through the Thistle defence to contrive a third goal from nothing. As the ball broke, Eskilsson was there to stroke home a debut goal.
Hibs were about 15 points in front of us, and I said that we had been improving, but I said this would be a great game to win, because I felt if we won that game, I think we could have then made Hibs a target as far as overtaking the league, and it proved to be. And I thought we could have been 2 or 3 up at half time, but Hibs came back at us and we took a penalty. But I think that again was a victory that was deserved.
Eskilsson, little lock. That's awkward. Deadly finish there. John Miller appearing late in the box. Jim Leighton appear to be caught in two minds. The Hearts have taken the lead.
It's a good ball into the box from Gary Loughlin. There you see a little bit of hesitation from Jim Leighton, his defender, and it allows the forward to nip in there and put it. Excellent taken goal, a real predator strike there.
Eskilsson's header to try and look at Chris Jackson. Hunter has McAllister free outside him. Well, this is where Hibs need some movement ahead. Evans has gone to the right. Jackson inside left position. Here's Chris Jackson. Good running. Chris Jackson going all the way himself. It's a great goal by Jackson. The equaliser for Hibs. Chris Jackson's first goal of the season. Here's Steve Fulton now with this free kick. John Miller's a big threat. Very good near. Stephen Tweed did well. Poor clearance attempt by O'Neill. Locke. Penalty kick's given. Foul by Millen. before the byline, but the penalty kick has been given. You'll always get a result if you go and attack defenders like that. And really he's taking the ball past him, and I don't think Andy Bill's got enough fault to complain about, because he's wrong-footed him. He slid in when the ball's going behind him, and I think the referee's right. Here comes Robertson. No answer to that. The power was too much for Leighton.
John Robertson's penalty goal sealed another memorable victory over Hibs to kickstart Hearts' league fight back. Over the years, there have been many crucial victories over Hearts' city rivals. In the late 80s, the Jambos began an unparalleled series of games without defeat against Hibernian, which spanned 6 seasons and 22 matches. We will return to current action in due course. But for the moment, sit back and enjoy some unforgettable moments from the archives. A celebration of some of the games and the goals from that magnificent undefeated run.
Unfortunate during the time I supported the club that Hibs came out on top, the infamous 7-0 defeat at Tynecastle here. But since I've been with the club, I've been very fortunate that we've had some fabulous games against them, and more often than not we've came out on top.
You know, I've been a Hearts supporter and player, and as I say, I know the rivalry well there, and it was no different if you know, you're feeling as a manager as you are when a player. When you're out there, at least when you're a player, you can go out there and do something about it. But great games to play in.
So the Hibs free kick. It'll be taken by Neil Orr. Right to the far post. Up goes Houchen! Magnificent goal from Houchen! He started to repay the transfer fee already. Sheer joy for Houchen. 24 minutes on the clock. They just set back that for Hearts, who have had the better of things in the attacking sense so far. Here's Ian Ferguson. Chance for Galloway. Galloway's back on his feet. Now Hearts deadly from these positions around the box, with Ian Ferguson the main threat. Bannon also deadly with these swerving free kicks. 5 in the wall. Bannon leaves it. There's Ferguson. Now Bannon! 28 minutes on the clock. Hearts are back on level terms. It came from the set piece. Bannon running over the ball. Ferguson shot half blocked by the wall. It broke to the left foot here of Eamon Bannon, and Gorham couldn't reach it. So there's the vantage point for the start of the second half here at Tynecastle. Hearts and Hibs drawing one apiece. A tremendous second half of prospect if the first 45 minutes are anything to go by. Hibs with 2 victories in the league against Hearts this season by 2-1 and 1-0. The 2-1 game was here at Tynecastle. That game a 0-0 draw. So a couple of fine goals in the first half. And Keith Houchen certainly made his mark for Hibs. Collins winning it back for Hibs. Well, that's good play from Collins. Running into that ruck of players in maroon and losing possession eventually. There's Ferguson picking out McKinley on the left. Robertson calls to the ball in the middle. Up he goes. There's Robertson.
first back here. Somebody's told me it's my 150th first team goal, so it's a double celebration, and obviously the fans will enjoy it more than anything else. It's more spice because you're an Edinburgh lad. You know, this is a big match as far as we're concerned. Myself, Gary Mackay, and equally Eddie May and Paul Kane especially. You know, it's a big game for us boys. We're all born and bred in Edinburgh.
It was a fixture which also featured those from further afield.
Good swinging ball, that's a goal. Musevic, the Yugoslav, cleanly in, and no wonder the goalkeeper's annoyed about that.
Husrev Musevic, dubbed Moose by fans, scored the winner in his one and only derby match after joining the club for £200,000 from Red Star Belgrade. Having been a prolific scorer in Yugoslavia, he never quite adapted to the hurly-burly of Scottish football.
You fear that the skills and the creativity to a large extent is being knocked out of the game?
Unfortunately in the Premier League, I mean, I suppose I'm biased because I play in midfield, but really, I mean, if you get one touch or two touch in midfield, you're lucky. And today was a perfect example of that. You're helping the ball on, it lands on your feet, and you haven't got time to bring it down and to do something with it. There are exceptions. Paul McStay probably is the best at creating a yard or two for himself. But generally speaking, the Premier League is a very, very difficult league to play in from a midfield point of view and from a forwards point of view too. And that's a pity, I think. It's not really... If you're a purist, I don't think you would enjoy the football played in the Premier League, generally speaking.
It is perhaps true of all derbies that skill and subtlety are sacrificed in the fire and fury of the occasion. Nonetheless, with pride at stake and the passion of the supporters at fever pitch, it can make for scintillating entertainment.
Going in on McCleary, no free kick given. His head was low as Collins made the challenge. It's Foster now breaking on the right for Hearts. And a beautifully timed tackle again from Neil Cooper. Here's Cahoon. Now Foster pulling it back for Bannon. 32 minutes gone, the Hearts fans go wild as Eamon Bannon gives his team the lead. Cahoon did well, sidestepping away there from Neil Cooper. The shot ricocheting there into the path of Foster. This is a great pullback by Foster. Bannon coming in, Gorham going to touch, but he couldn't keep it out. And Hearts are in front. Well, Bannon's second goal of the season. And it's free kick which Hibs have taken quickly. There's Mitchell looking for Archibald. Hibs have equalised. Steve Archibald's first of the season, and beautifully finished. Here was Graham Mitchell turning to his right foot. Now just look at the way Archibald takes this, easing the ball under the crossbar away from Henry Smith. Up goes McPherson. Turned on by Cahoon, but Hibs survive. Taken again by Kirkwood. Dave McCreary turning it back well for Cahoon. John Robertson. Robertson again! John Robertson at his best. Kane and Archibald setting up this free kick. Off the post from Archibald. McKinley couldn't turn it in. Well, Hibs can scarcely believe it.
First and foremost, and same in any game, you want the team to win. You want the team to perform well. There's a lot of games, a lot of derby matches that I've played in that I've not performed as well as I would like, but I've been happy at the end of the game because the team's won. And I think that's the main thing in football. It is a team game.
To Weir is a great move from Hibs. Genius from Mickey Weir, and Hibs are ahead in 16 minutes.
Bannon wins it. He has McKinley available on the left. Here's Foster. Back with Mackay. Robertson return pass, and Mackay is brought down on the run there. Cooper has stayed on the ground. He appeared to be in the thick of all that, but what a good bit of play this was. Foster to Gary Mackay. Now Mackay tries to play the 1-2 here, and Cooper just stays in his path. That was a bad foul by Cooper. Robertson. Cleanly struck. The wall and Gorham are beaten, and Hearts are back at level. 8 minutes from half time. Well, that's a disaster for his defence, and it certainly was. Beautifully struck by Robertson. And the 20th goal of the season for all Hearts striker. Helped on there, the header from Robertson. Hearts go ahead 2 minutes into the second half. And the goal machine called John Robertson does it again. This time off the head of McGinley. Across to Robertson coming in. Powerful header through the hands of Gorham. Well, a double for John Robertson. And the perfect start to the second half for Hearts.
There's no question of what makes them special games, and it's the expectations of supporters and the pressures of supporters put on players. All week people talk about the game, and more than any other game, even than Rangers and Celtic. And it's sad but true that supporters would rather you beat Hibs 4 times than got beat 4 times and had a better league campaign. But that's just the way people are, because they don't want to go into work on a Monday morning and take the stick and the abuse from the workmates that are perhaps Hibs supporters.
It is unfortunate that on occasion the game has been marred by crowd trouble as the frustration of supporters boils over. However, it is always what happens on the park that remains the major talking point.
Robertson's in there. Robertson doing well. And the deflection, it's a goal for Hearts! Oh, what a disaster for Hibs. John Robertson playing the ball into the middle. Oh, what a record this little man has of causing trouble for Hibs. Andy Gorham looking quite disconsolate. 12 minutes on the clock. And John Robertson cutting into the penalty area, flipping the ball forward and deflected into the net. Cahoon, Mackay, George Wright, and into the far post. McKinley coming in, it's headed behind by Willie Miller. The corner kick to Hearts. And Craig Levein going forward along with Alan McLaren. And John Robertson going over to take this one, in fact leaving it now to John Cahoon. Craig Levein there, poised for the cross. Levein with a header and the ball in the net, and it's John Robertson, I think, getting the final touch. Certainly a powerful header from Craig Levein, right through the Hibs defence. Robertson was lurking there. 24 minutes on the clock. Hibernian 0, Hearts 2, and Andy Gorham can't quite believe it. Well, Levein was in plenty of space. The high ball played right across the face of the box. The header, Robertson was there, whether he got the merest touch. But certainly Levein will probably claim that one. Here's Sanderson to Cahoon, to Mackay. Stringing the passes together, George Wright. Away though by Gordon Hunter. Still Hearts keeping on the pressure. Cahoon, good ball through to Foster, he's got Robertson in the middle. John Robertson, what a goal by Hearts! Oh, that was magnificent play. 44 minutes gone, and a classic goal by Hearts, holding the play quite brilliantly. It was Mackay to Cahoon. Forward then to Wayne Foster, using his tremendous pace to get away from Snedden. John Robertson coming in, and the header giving Andy Gorham no chance whatsoever. Well, John Robertson enjoys scoring goals against Hibernian. He does it again this afternoon. Hibernian 0, Hearts 3. Just trying to build some play. It's Graham Mitchell. Away by Sanderson. Hamilton with the drive and a magnificent save by Henry Smith.
By November 1990, Hibs were becoming increasingly anxious about their failure to beat their rivals. On this meeting, they opened the scoring with a goal from Keith Houchen. However, their joy turned to despair as John Colquhoun, ploughing a familiar furrow down the right, whipped in a cross, which was spectacularly met by Robbo. Neil Berry popped up to meet the rebound and secure his place in the hearts of the Tynecastle faithful.
Favourite one for myself was the one that we won 4-1 at Easter Road. I think it was the first time that Sky had shown a live game, a live Scottish game, and we went down to Easter Road under Joe Jordan's managership, and we won 4-1.
As is often the case in such matches, league form was no indicator of the outcome of these games. Despite some indifferent performances under manager Joe Jordan that season, the side had still inflicted 3 convincing victories over Hibs. Perhaps the most memorable and satisfying of those came as the festive season was drawing to an end.
Here's Gary Mackay. Clearance by Milne. Now Colquhoun is in behind Milne, releasing the ball early. And it's played in by Tosh McKinlay. Andy Goram was unsighted, there's no doubt about that. But Tosh McKinlay scores his first goal of the season and Hearts are ahead.
Well, there doesn't look any danger at all, does there, when the ball arrives at Tosh McKinlay's foot. But I think it is Andy Goram is unsighted. I think Willie Miller has lifted his foot up. I can't understand why he didn't try and block it, Willie Miller. If you just watch very carefully, he just lifts his leg over it, and that doesn't help his goalkeeper at all.
So referee Duncan ensuring that the Hibs wall retreats the required distance. So 4 in the wall. Dave McPherson up with the attack, so is Craig Levein. Colquhoun leaves it to Crabb. Chance for McPherson on the turn. Hearts are 2 ahead. And once again Andy Goram was rooted to the spot. Well, what an incredible goal for Hearts. It's McPherson's 3rd of the season.
Well, once again, you can only fault the defending from Hibs. They've had opportunities to clear it, but Dave McPherson just turns, and the deflection does nothing for Andy Goram, does it? Yes, and I think the tide is turning against them. They've had 10 or 15 minutes now where they haven't really troubled the Hearts' defence, and they caused them all sorts of problems in the first half hour. And I think Alec Miller will be quite happy now to get his team in the dressing room at half-time, just to get them G'd up again and set them out for the second half.
Goram coming out to challenge with a header. There's Gary Mackay, and Hearts have scored a 3rd. Well, the Hearts fans are jubilant. Andy Goram cannot believe this. Well, it certainly must be called an error of judgment by Goram.
Well, certainly the flight of the ball deceives him. I'm sure Andy Goram's coming out to catch that, realises he's going to be outside the box, but what composure from Gary Mackay.
Kane forward. Here's Paul Kane again. Here's Brian Hamilton going through the middle. Have to time the pass properly. He's onside all right. Hamilton returning it for Kane. And it's an own goal by Gary Mackay. And you wonder if that was the only way in which Hibs would score.
Well, it's quite incredible, isn't it, Joe? They can't even get the joy of scoring a goal themselves. Gary Mackay, who had chased all the way back. What more has this game got in store for his job?
Good play by McPherson. There's Houchen back defending. And a great goal by Levein. What a magnificent volley by Craig Levein. It's not one of the aspects of Levein's game for which he's renowned, but what a great finish this is.
Well, he don't mind losing his feet, Jock, when there's a goal like this involved. I mean, there's nothing happening, it's a bit of a scramble. Hearts get in a bit of a mix-up there, but what a volley this is from Craig Levein. As you say, not noted for his finishing, but I'll bet he'll remember this for a long, long time.
I had the misfortune to score at the Hibs end, but the Hearts end rather, but also scored against them that day. So we won 4-1, and Scott Crabb and myself, Scott who's now with Dundee United, went out and had a couple of drinks after the game to celebrate another famous victory at Easter Road.
When it comes to scoring against Hibs, there is one man who is the undisputed King of Hearts.
All getting up well. There's Robertson! Typical finishing from Robertson. Hearts are ahead in just 4 minutes. Evans looking for Weir. The marker is right. That's a careless one. Here's Keith Wright. Hibs are back on level terms.
Come on, David, play the game. You don't get back through West.
The New Year's Day game of 1992 was extremely significant for Joe Jordan's Hearts side. While looking to extend their unbeaten run to 12 games, Hearts also had the opportunity to claim the top place in the league, above Rangers, at the midway stage of the season. As usual, it was a game full of controversy and incident, with a number of talking points after the dust had settled.
Badly need a victory, and they're hunting a crucial goal here with Tortolano. Oh, and McLaren nearly an own goal. Is it in? It must be in. Well, David Syme has ruled out another one. An amazing episode right on the line.
Well, Hibs looking more and more dangerous as the game goes on. A terrific little ball in here. McLaren slides in, knocks off his stummer. Smith lets it, slips out his hand a little bit. Well, I don't know. I didn't see a great deal wrong with that.
Was it handball?
Must have been difficult for the referee to see it in front of all those bodies.
Treated the game, as Joe Jordan has been saying, as though it was a European tie. And here is Ferguson! What an arrival! And really against the run of play, Hearts have snatched the lead in the most dramatic fashion. Ian Ferguson sent on to try and pep things up, and how well he's done it.
Well, not a bad substitution here. I mean, it's a long free kick. We were talking about Ferguson's aerial ability when he came on. McPherson flicks it on, but it's actually a great right foot half volley here that comes again Hearts' way. Terrific finish. Long punt into the penalty box. Good flick on from David McPherson. Just goes over the back of the defender's head here. Just waits on it, times it lovely, and a terrific right foot shot right into the top of the net.
Well, it's his second goal for Hearts. Weir could be in for an equaliser straight away. It's a great stop by Henry Smith. A magnificent save to snatch the equaliser away from Mickey Weir.
Well, I can tell you time and time again this has happened this season. Henry Smith having an absolutely magnificent season. You might have expected Mickey Weir to finish that one.
Well, Tommy McIntyre came through the difficulties of taking a penalty in the Skull Cup final. And he scored at a crucial stage against Dunfermline, but if anything, this is more nerve-wracking. It's McIntyre, he's rolled it into the corner. And totally deceived Henry Smith, 1-1.
While it is often the goal scorers who make the headlines, there are often others whose heroics are decisive.
Darren Jackson, oh, a terrific save by Henry Smith. Oh, Darren Jackson coming so close to his first goal for Hibernian. Great leap there, and what a save from Smith. So Van de Ven, who's just come back into the side after injury, gives away the penalty. Oh, Henry Smith does it again. That is magnificent goalkeeping. Well, Brian Hamilton hit the kick with plenty of power, but Smith, well, two tremendous saves in the opening stages. Jackson against Levine, Van de Ven behind him, Mickey Weir running through the middle. Oh, tremendous run by Weir, he must score. Smith has done it again.
And now there to Mackay. This is Van de Ven, now Derek Ferguson. Robertson playing it on, there's Beard! The end of the Hearts! 17 minutes of the match gone. Robertson the provider, Beard the finisher. And a great counter-attack it was from Hearts. And look at the quality of the ball, played in here by Derek Ferguson. Mitchell had to watch the ball to the right flank. Robertson helped it on, Norwood picked up Beard on the run. And a deadly header beats John Burridge. And once again, Hibs have left three players on the halfway line, Jackson, Weir and Evans. Forcing Hearts to think about that. Mitchell's header. Hibs setting themselves for a counter-attack if they can get possession again. But it's back with John Robertson. And it's missed by Burridge. Did Ian Beard get a touch? That's the only question, but it's an error by Burridge without question. And right on the hour mark, Hearts go ahead. Well, John Robertson taking the credit for this. We'll see from this move whether Beard got a touch on this. Well, the answer is he didn't. The bounce deceived John Burridge, and the goal goes down to John Robertson. Again then, Mitchell. Clarence sending it back, but Keith Wright trying to get there ahead of Nicky Walker. Breaks free there, the keeper is brave. Here's Keith Wright. The chance is on, it's off the post to Mickey Weir, and blocked on the line by Hogg. Nothing going right in front of goal for Hibs.
Season 93-94 started with an early encounter with Hibs. Justin Fashanu, whose personal life attracted more attention than his footballing ability, began a move which was continued by John Colquhoun. The ball broke to Gary Locke, who had time to look up and find Alan Johnson in the box. Johnson, who had come on as a substitute, immediately endeared himself to Hearts supporters.
The exciting thing about the goal was that one of our young lads, Gary Locke, supplied a great cross, and Alan Johnson, who the lads here are starting to call Magic Johnson because of his ability, pulled the ball down in the box, cut inside and lashed into the top corner.
It is a special game for us. The ground's always full and there's always a great atmosphere, and there's never any football played, but I mean, it's the nature of derby games all over the world, and they are exciting games. I've scored two against Hibs on a couple of occasions, one from the farthest I've ever kicked the ball. It was over 30 yards. It's the furthest I've ever kicked the ball, so that was satisfying. You've got to earn the right to play in most games, but in the derby game it's really just frenetic and played at such a high tempo and a high pace that there isn't really any time for football. It's usually a physical encounter, and occasionally you'll get one thrown up. That's a classic game, but not in the way of football played, I don't think, because there is so much at stake. There's a lot of games because we've had such a good run, and you always remember the good times rather than the bad times. Wayne Foster's winner against Hibs in the Scottish Cup was special because we had been outplayed for long spells in the game, but at that time we seemed to be able to do that, to then be outplayed and then come up and sneak a winner.
Robertson's layoff, looking for Colquhoun. Good play by McKinlay, Robertson's onside. Well, that's good play by Robertson, and a very fine block by Jim Leighton. His first serious save of the match.
Hearts' last game in their run ended in a goalless draw. It was their 22nd game without defeat.
It's unprecedented in the City derby that I know of to go that amount of games without a defeat, and it was. But the funny thing was it was really hit them really hard when they actually beat us, which was strange after 22 years. I think they said, "Oh well, it had to happen sometime." But that's just the nature of supporters in these derby games. But it was a fantastic run, but we used to get out knowing that we wouldn't get beaten. They used to get out knowing that they couldn't win. And psychology plays a big part in football, and it is a huge thing. But it's ended now, and every game is just a typical derby game now, and it's impossible to predict. Everybody says that. It's a cliche that you don't know what way it's going to go, and form goes out the window. All those cliches are true, because it's just what happens on the day.
To go that length of derbies in any derbies is fantastic, and that's something you can't take away from them. So the club can be proud of that record, and hopefully we can start off and maybe try and beat that record and make it 20 equal it or 22 or even better at someday. But it's going to be a difficult one to beat.
Returning to the action from more recent times, season 95-96 continued towards the turn of the year with manager Jim Jeffries facing an uphill struggle.
The achievement, first of all, was turning round the run of bad results that we had up till November. The fact that we were sitting virtually bottom of the league in November is forgotten when you do as well between then and the end of the season. But the manager turned it around with the personnel that he brought in, and also the lads that were already here.
After the first quarter, as I said, we're sitting at the bottom of the league, and the second quarter showed that the changes coming in, we started to get a lot of improvement.
Hearts began to play an exciting brand of football, with a blend of young and old, homegrown and imported players beginning to produce results. In particular, Hearts' young captain excelled in the role.
The season's just went from good to better this season for myself, and at the start of the year I'd just been happy to get myself back into the team on a regular basis, but to be made captain's an extra bonus for me.
There was no doubt that the youngsters benefited from the experience of the more mature players. In particular, John Robertson continued to set a good example. He would go on to become top scorer for the 13th of his 14 seasons with the club.
Brought one or two different players in, and the young kids got a chance, and people split the team into three compartments last season. It was the older lads like myself and Davey and Gary and John, and then the young kids like Paul and Gary Locke and Alan Johnson, and then you had the foreigners. But it wasn't really to do with three compartments, to do with everybody pulling together as a team, and I think we got the best out of our ability last year.
It was a squad that had been here a long time and a bit ageing, if you like, and we've had to try and change that round, and because you've always got to have a balance with the youngsters, and also you've got to have room for your experienced players as well. So we've managed to do that. I think we've got a lot of fresh legs about the place. I like one or two experienced players. That's a good blend.
Young Alan Johnson was proving to be a revelation, beginning to turn on the magic more consistently. With a regular first-team place, his confidence increased, and he excited supporters with his dazzling talents.
A big difference for last year. Gaffers gave us a bit of confidence and says if we play well, we'll keep our place. I think that's been the major difference. He just says no matter what age you are, if you do well, you'll be in the first team, and he stuck by his words.
John Colquhoun also benefited from Jim Jeffries' intuitive understanding of players in the game, as he revelled in a more direct role.
After the last season, I was pushed through the middle after I did quite well coming on against Aberdeen, and I'm really enjoying it. I was becoming a bit staid and a bit stale playing out wide, because after so many years in the Premier League, people defenders are not that daft. They realise what's happening and what you like to do. But going through the middle, I can use a little bit of what I've learned over the years, and I'm really enjoying my football. And I've got another year here, and I'm just going to take it as it comes. I'm enjoying it just now, but when I stop enjoying it, hopefully I'll be able to stop playing.
Despite a New Year's Day defeat to Hibs, the Jambos began to chalk up victories where before they had stumbled. Alan McManus scored with a brave header at Firhill to take the points and avenge an earlier defeat there. The season was now entering its most crucial phase for Hearts.
But I always said that the third quarter would be the most important one. And in that third quarter we had our last 7 fixtures in that quarter, we had 5 at home. And you know, a league as tight as this, you know, there's a lot of draws can be thrown up. But we actually won a lot of matches, particularly in that period. And obviously a big difference with picking up 3 as opposed to 1 point. So really, you know, when I looked at it and said, well, 5 of those games at home, if we get the lion's share of points, then that would be great.
I think like when I first came here, the club, we were right down the bottom, so we were, and I don't think there was a lot of optimism about the way the things were going. Then the foreigners come in, and like things have just seemed to gel, and like, I think we just lacking a bit of confidence. Like when I came to the club, and like we're getting the wins, you know what I mean? We feel confident we can go out and win every game.
And the only place we came unstuck was in those home matches with Celtic when we led 1-0 with 14 minutes to go and we lost it. And we're a bit disappointed about that because, you know, we had Rangers in the following Saturday, but, you know, football's a funny thing, and we go to Ibrox and play the best we've played this year and get a 3-0 victory, so that evened it up.
It was Neil Poynton with the header.
couldn't quite direct it towards Colquhoun, but John Colquhoun is battling away. He's beaten Petric. Alan Lawrence inside, Johnston making ground in the middle. Return pass, Colquhoun again. It's cut back. Alan Johnston has scored. 7 minutes gone, and Hearts have shocked the Rangers support with the opening goal. It's Alan Johnston. He's been in superb form, and the Rangers defence won't be happy about this at all. It was sluggish stuff from Petric. Colquhoun got the second chance, and his cutback tucked away by Johnston. Really, Rangers had opportunities to clear here, but John Colquhoun was going to make them pay, and Johnston took the chance. They call him magic at Tynecastle. Forward from Poynton, Johnston through the middle. He's done it again. It's Johnston's second. And out of almost nothing, Hearts have struck blow number 2. The Hearts fans jubilant. Their team is 2 up. It was played through by Neil Poynton. In behind Ian Ferguson was Alan Johnston. The Rangers defence lost him, and that was a superb finish. He's highly thought of, is Alan Johnston, and with that sort of cool finish, grim faces on the Rangers bench. A team really being vastly outplayed at the moment. McLaren against Colquhoun. McLaren wins. They used to be teammates. Now Charlie Miller. What can Ian Ferguson do? Gordon Jury forced to come back looking for the ball. In recent times, he's been getting an excellent service and making the most of it too. There's Poynton through the middle. Alan Johnston, can he score his hat-trick? What a moment for the youngster. Johnston! He's done it! A superb finish from Alan Johnston, and Hearts' victory over Rangers is surely now complete. The Hearts players celebrate. Celebrations on the Hearts bench as well, and Alan Johnston has a hat-trick he will long remember. Hooked forward from Poynton. Yet again, Johnston eluding his marker. Bags of time, he made the most of it. He went round Gorham and he tucked it away. Well, the Hearts fans won't mind seeing this one again, but look at the room Johnston was given through the middle of that Rangers defence. But look at the cool head as well here for a 22-year-old. The Rangers fans heading for the exits already. They've seen enough. Their team 3 down.
And Alan Johnston that day put on an individual performance that will be very, very difficult for anybody to match at Ibrox. Everything he done was sheer class, and that was probably the game that propelled him into the limelight, and it was thoroughly deserved because he was superb. But overall, the team played really well that day, and he was really the icing on the cake as far as his individual performance was concerned.
We got the thing right on the day. I mean, it's always a difficult place, and Rangers are capable of scoring 3 and 4 and 5 goals, as we know, against you. So to go there, you know, there's obviously a lot more pressure on Rangers. We're going for the title and things like that. But you know, we're going there with a bit of confidence. We'd played well, as I say, against Celtic in the midweek, and we were determined to try and get something out of the game there. But the way we set the team up, everybody played according to plan, and you know, then we had an individual performance from Alan Johnston getting the 3 goals. But it was a real team effort, and you know, you've got to look back on that game and say, you know, score didn't flatter us in any way, and we could have scored a few more. But as I say, we'll not be greedy, and that day we thoroughly deserved our victory. So it was nice, and you know, because Hearts haven't got a good record at Ibrox, so it was again pleasing to give the supporters something to go home and cheer at last after a lot of disappointments at Ibrox.
If the scoreline wasn't a true reflection, it was because we hadn't scored enough. We outplayed them that day, and we outfought them, and we outthought them, and it was very satisfying. But when it comes down to it, they ended up first in the league and we ended up 4th, and that tells the story of the whole season.
looking for over the course of the season, and what we did achieve from November was a level of consistency that we're hoping to match this year. And that's the only way ahead for the club, is achieving a level of consistency as an individual and as a team.
The progress on the park continued with 2 consecutive victories over Kilmarnock. Having beaten them 2-1 in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup, they repeated that feat 1 week later with a 2-0 league victory. John Colquhoun and John Robertson were the scorers.
Through time we started to get, the wee signs were coming when near the end of the season we got people like Colin Cameron to go in there, and based on the success we had in the Scottish Cup and getting to the final.
Having defeated St Johnstone and Aberdeen to reach the Scottish Cup final, Hearts faced Cup final opponents Rangers in a league clash. A spectacular strike from Neil Poynton put Hearts ahead, in the game inevitably tagged a dress rehearsal for the final itself. The second goal was scored by that thorn in Rangers' flesh, Magic Johnson. Hearts became the only side, apart from Juventus, to beat Rangers home and away that season. There followed a visit to Starks Park and another convincing victory from Jim Jeffries' men. New signing Colin Cameron opened the scoring with a simple tap-in after popping up in the box to take advantage of slack defending by Wraith. Neil Poynton pounced on a loose ball in the edge of the area and buried his drive in the corner of the net. Gary Mackay struck a memorable free-kick goal to celebrate his 600th appearance in a Hearts jersey. As the season came to a close, the only issue to be decided was that of who would claim third spot. A 1-1 draw with Aberdeen meant the Jambos finished joint third with the Dons.
When you consider when you've got all these changes and things to do, I think if you said that we'd finish third equal and in a Scottish Cup final, and the way we were playing and the way the team was shaping, we've got to be delighted with that first season. As I say, particularly when the first quarter we were sitting at the bottom of the league. So pleased, and we've got to use that as a springboard to go on this year and try and do a bit better than we did last year.
There were disappointments, with a stinging defeat to Rangers in the Cup final, and, in an illustration of the struggle Hearts must continually face, the loss of Alan Johnson to France.
But I think it's even more difficult for a club like Hearts, who've nurtured his talents, and then within the space of probably a year really, when he came into the first team and was a focal point in the first team, within a year he's then departed the scene. The only positive aspect to come out of last season as far as the youngsters were concerned, apart from their performances, is the fact that Richie McManus and Gary Locke, who's sadly injured just now, they have secured their futures with the club, and that gives the club a good basis to work on over the next 2 or 3 years.
As the club begin a new season, Jim Jeffries' efforts to build a team which can challenge for top honours continues. In an effort to find the balance that is needed to mount an effective campaign, he has proved his prudence and good judgment in the transfer market, with the acquisition of talented winger Neil McCann from Dundee.
Yeah, well, it's a while since Hearts have played with a left-sided player, left-sided winger, and so there will be a different sort of balance to the team when he plays. But he's exciting, he's quick, he runs at people. When he runs at people and does it very, very early, he's at his most dangerous.
Alan Johnson was the type that excited the people when he was on his game, and you could get supporters, you could see them getting off their seats when something he was, he could create something out of nothing. And Neil McCann's exactly the same. I think he's shown that he's a player that can excite the people, and he can unlock defences, and he's got a skill and pace, great left foot, crosses the ball well, and so plenty of opportunities to lay on the chances for us there. Now we've got to capitalise on the outfield play that he can give us. So very pleased with that signing, and the bonus is that he's only 21 as well. So lots of hope for him. He has a good career with Hearts.
We've tried to balance the whole club. There wasn't a lot of midfield players, for instance, and we've tried to strengthen that area, which is quite difficult. But players like David Weir, you know, who's doing extremely well. Colin Cameron, who's come in, Neil McCann. You know, these are relatively young lads, and you know, it bodes well for the future.
The season has begun with Jeffries and Brown continuing to strive for the blend that will yield results. Already the signs are promising that that goal is within reach.
Weir as well forward, gets a touch, and Hearts take the lead. Paul Ritchie gives Hearts the lead. Once again, David Weir is up there to see if he can cause some problems. The goalkeeper's under pressure, and that's gone in. Well, this is incredible. 14 minutes gone, 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. A complete miscue there. Chances on for Cameron. And it's there, and it's Ritchie again.
One of Jim and I's aims at Berwick, Falkirk, and since we've come here, is to try and get the team playing attractive football. And if you play attractive football, you know, you get crowds in and people support you. And you'll find that that will come out in your favour in the end. And people enjoy it better, there's a better spirit in the club. And our aim is just to keep on progressing. And we just hope that we can put Hearts where they should be, and that's challenging for every major runner we possibly can.
Fulfilment of the management's ambitions is something that they know can only be achieved with the continued backing of the supporters.
We're always looking for quality players. We're starting to look further afield now in terms of the European market as well, and we've already done that with Russi and Bruno, and at this present moment another Italian who's on a short-term comment. Hopefully he'll work out and we can have him on a longer-term basis. But it's to stick right behind us, because it's far more encouraging to play with a big Heart support behind us, actually supporting the team. This club's been knocked a lot in the last 10 years, and rightly so, because of the fact that you know, the disappointments that they've had. And what's helped is there's been a lot of upheaval at boardroom level and what have you, and we've been in the press for a lot of the wrong reasons. So hopefully last year, as I say, we're in the press for a lot of the right reasons, and we want to continue that and give people in the papers and the media and everything to shout about for things we're doing on the park. And the one way to help that is getting everybody behind each other, particularly supporters, and encouraging and let them see that we're at least giving it 100% to try and bring success to the club.
Well, if there wasn't a sense of optimism, would change the people that didn't have that opinion. You know, one thing in football, you've got to be optimistic, you've got to look forward, and you've got to be enthusiastic. And if you're not like that, if you're always looking on the downside, you'll never progress. And one thing we try to breed is good spirit, and you need to be optimistic in any level.